Okay. Says recording. I think we're ready to roll. We got a couple people on, looks like. Okay, well, thank you everybody for being on top of things and being here. We'll call this communications meeting to order, identifying the volunteers present. Keith, you want to go first?
Keith Campbell.
Lindsay Kuhn.
Molly Snodgrass.
Karen Kissa.
Darlene Gold. Do we have anybody on Zoom? Someone?
Bob Singer.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Oh goodness, Tom, you sound like a chipmunk again.
Yeah, that's weird. But we see your name, Tom. Tom Neal. That's a weird thing with the audio, but that's happened before.
It's happened before too. I think
Yeah.
Tom also. So I think it's on his
Yes.
end.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody in person and on Zoom. We have a relatively light agenda compared to what we normally have. Which is good. It means that we're moving on a lot of things and we don't have a lot of extra stuff. Molly, if
I'm gonna pin the video. That way,
thank you.
that way we're recording this and not recording.
Yes,
the
thank
wall.
you. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so as usual, we're going to start with the items left over from our previous meeting. The first being our website audit workshop. So just an update on that. So Molly sent me over the spreadsheet that she made while we were throwing ideas out there. And I sent Ashley some possible dates to schedule with that Revise, who's the current website company, to go over the spreadsheet. So just stay tuned, just waiting to get that scheduled. And in addition, we have our spring newsletter going, which is all systems go, going great. The postage check Lisa Hershey got done and is in the hands of the printer, and all content is in, like super on time, wonderful. And it looks like we're going to have about 8 pages this time. I was thinking we would have 10 pages. I was thinking that our normal was 8. I do believe our normal is 8, but last time we had a lighter newsletter, it was only 6.
Oh,
So I think we can fit it in 8 again. There's a lot of good content. So just going through what we can expect. The trustees letter is done. They made a letter or like an article that recapped John Trainer's presentation from the last trustee meeting and then that strategic planning meeting, because a PowerPoint presentation wouldn't necessarily translate to a printed newsletter. So he basically wrote it in like recap form. So that information will be included. Maintenance department sent in. We don't have a zoning commission, but we have a zoning department, which I think is fine because sometimes we don't have a department, we have a commission. We have our own subscribe to emails, Facebook page, and VP position reminder. Zoning department is done. It is what are zoning overlays and how do they work? It's very comprehensive and pretty cool. For the economic development section, we already have built in, there are 2 PDFs that Crossroads Community Planning made from those 2 strategic planning meetings to include, plus info from that about when the steering committee meets, reminding people that that is a public meeting. Mm-hmm. And then something brand new that I got forwarded and asked to include in the newsletter is, it looks like the Licking County, I gotta make sure I say this right. The Licking County TID, so Transportation Improvement District, they had a meeting in like recently, and in their meeting a few days ago, they announced that they're hosting a meeting at Grange Hall that may be of interest to people of Highland Township about generally like the construction that will eventually happen along county line. So I think we should probably, the roundabouts. So we should certainly include that. And I was also thinking, I didn't write this down because I was thinking it on my way here, but that probably warrants its own email blast.
Yeah,
do you guys agree?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too.
Ultimately, I think there's supposed to be like 3 roundabouts up county line, but they're probably starting with 1 and
that big one on the end.
Yeah.
There was
a 5-way.
a thing in next door someplace the other day that in 5 years there'll be 25 roundabouts
Really?
in Delaware County.
In Delaware County.
Not Highland Township, but
Right, it's
Delaware
just started since March 31st.
Wow.
Big one on Worthington Galena Road and the Africa Road just started. It'll be starting on May 1st.
Yeah, roundabouts are becoming.
One at Wayne Galena and Central College.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of brand new information. So I guess we'll want to make sure we get that out there. And I'll work on that email blast because that should probably go out sooner rather than later. The meeting date is, if anybody cares and lives along county line, is April 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which roundabout is the first one they're doing? Is it the one at 30, not 37,
I believe
Center Village, Duncan Plains and County Line?
I think it's the Duncan Plains County line. One of
It's
them.
one,
And
two, three, four,
Montgomery
five,
and-
yeah.
Right here. There's like 5 points.
five.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the
one's gonna
5
be
point
like one of those like bean shaped
Yeah,
roundabouts
oh,
because there's so
okay.
many
Yeah.
angles.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And it-
perfect too because there's not a lot of there's not a lot that they have to get rid of. It's really open. for
Yeah,
them.
there's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like there's houses on the corners or anything.
And it's one of the most dangerous places in Lake
Yeah.
County. If you look at the traffic studies and stuff, it's very dangerous because people go so fast along county line.
Yes,
And-
they do.
And
Yeah.
they assume, people assume that there's stops when there's
Yes.
not
I
stops.
believe it will be.
Right.
So this is a good thing. I
Yes,
think.
I-
It's like,
I agree.
That area is like perfect for roundabout, I think.
Well, I think another one is over there with the
this
3B
stuff
and K.
It's like from 5 to 7 or
Word.
something.
Oh, yeah.
in the
Oh,
evening.
that, I
Like
know
a
what
South
you're
Gonna
talking about.
Give us
all
the look.
ends.
But they all at least have stop
Chester.
signs. And everybody just
Chester.
kind of gives the.
Yeah, sometimes they don't, but
Who's gonna go? You gonna go? Okay. I'll go.
5:30 to 8.
5:30 to 8.
5:30 to 8 at Grange Hall.
Good. You'll be in a better place.
yeah,
Don't worry about it.
no.
So quite a bit of economic development stuff happening for sure.
Great.
And then the trustee letter is the last piece of recent economic development information. So it'll all be included. And everything really since the last newsletter will be included, which is nice. Community park already sent in, fire sent in, BZA, did we have anything? We were gonna look. Okay.
I mean, we had one person came in for a in-home occupation, which we approved, but it was by the time we got the application, time the next month we got the approval, he'd already purchased property up north of the moves business up there anyways.
Mhm.
All he's gonna have there basically is doing his office stuff in his home.
Okay, so nothing. That's all right.
Only one neighbor showed up and they were like, yeah, we talked and everything, we're all good, you know, he's
Okay.
gonna put some trees up to screen it, so there's like no controversy, so.
Easy peasy. And then, okay, so lastly, the fiscal office has sent in their portion. Heritage, Karen sent in photos of the noodle dinner and the info about the expenses for Heritage. And then lastly, Molly sent in a write-up of the fun feature to include from the website map. So that's everything. I mean, it was in.
We're
No,
efficient.
yeah, we were efficient, so it's awesome. So hopefully, I'd like to be able to get it all inserted into that template by the end of the week if I can. That way we can review it and get it sent out. And then it's off our plate. So, any comments or questions about previous stuff before we move on to the new items? So it's just gonna be a quick meeting.
Okay, well, I did fail on the park stuff. I could not get a picture, so I will add that. There was nobody there every time I went. It was
Yeah.
freezing.
Also, yeah, the weather has not been nice for
So
that.
I'll still get that if you want to do something on like Facebook or whatever. I don't.
That would be great.
Okay.
That would be great.
So
So
top of mind.
yeah, that would be awesome. So our new agenda items are the next monthly email blast and then a new April social media calendar. So the thinking about the email blast first, the last email blast we had the PDF from the strategic planning meeting. So I'm thinking we should do the same thing for this one, just to make sure that everybody has had the opportunity to see it, and it's also posted on the Facebook page. Can anybody think? So the email blast will go out on April 22nd, which is, didn't I say that this Licking County meeting is the
23rd.
23rd. So I guess we could certainly be included. Can we think of anything else that, any development news or resources that would be important to include in this? Or does this one kind of,
Unless there's
Write
another
itself.
like date for any more of those community input sessions.
Yeah.
But without knowing that when the next one is, if there's a next one, then.
yeah. Any new dates for community input sessions? That would be good. We put our call to, if you have website feedback, we didn't get any emails though. That's good.
Hopefully people are reading
I'll
our
take
email
it.
blasts. They can't say we're not sending them.
That's right. So, I mean, it seems like this one kind of is writing itself. We've already got the PDF from the strategic planning meeting. We've got this Licking County meeting. We have all of our standard meetings and agendas. So if anybody thinks of anything between now and the end of the month, please shoot me an email. Seems like it's kind of already baked though.
Did you see the summary of the meeting that they had at the church?
Yes, let's talk about that for a minute.
I think we
So
can get to that.
the strategic planning input session. So if you remember the first one, they had everybody vote and the top 5 or 6 items were considered like priorities because people, priorities for what strategic planning in the township should include. And one of them was good collaboration and communication. So I think their intention for future meetings, starting with this one in March, was to hone in on each and then further define what each of those priorities means. So they started with communication and collaboration. And what was nice is that in that recap PDF, if you haven't seen it yet on the Facebook page, there was a lot of the stuff that were already like a website audit and improving the website. Did you have something specific that?
No, I thought to make sure that we talked about that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it hit us pretty hard.
Yeah.
I know, I agree. I mean, like I read over that PDF summarizing the meeting and I'm like, a lot of this we're already either doing or like have on our list as things to like identified to
Mhm.
do if we can recruit more volunteers. I think I even commented on the Facebook post. Like,
Yeah,
it sounds like to make some of these happen, it'd be great to have more volunteers on our committee. 'Cause,
sure.
it seems like there's maybe 5, 6 people, that seem to regularly come and kind of take on action items. And some of those items in that were identified, it's like, if we had more bandwidth to tap into on our committee, we can help make more of those happen.
Absolutely.
So,
I think we're moving in the right direction.
Mhm.
Like especially because a big one was, just making sure that information is really easy to find on the township website. So we've already done that exercise. We're going to improve that. Some other ones that I liked and that are good for us to keep in mind as we do these monthly meetings. It was kind of like, oh yeah, duh. Somebody was like, we should use the other events that we're already having to spread the word on things. So like the next chicken noodle dinner is early in May, right? So
May 2nd.
yeah, we should make sure that we're utilizing that to if we need to spread the word on any meetings or anything like that.
Mhm.
I thought that was really smart. Let me look that up real fast.
Because we do have a board up in the building
Mhm.
saying what things are happening.
Yes.
And we post what we're doing, but we can post anything else because
Yeah.
because the food truck starts in the farmers market May 21st.
Very good. Yes.
So that's up there. But I'm saying we can add more things and make sure.
and there is like a bulletin board thing at the community park, but
People
we-
don't look at
I was
that.
gonna say, do people look at it? Is it in a convenient spot? Like, should we have it?
Well,
See
if I'm not mistaken, it was in front of the I call it the shelter.
Yeah.
But people when they go by, they don't think to look because it's behind glass, but it's underneath, so it won't get protected.
It faces the driveway, it doesn't really face.
Well,
Mhm.
there's multiple boards. There's the one that's attached to the shelter, but then there's that other one on like the driveway to and
To
from
from-
the recycling.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, like, I
Stop.
feel like no one ever looks at that one, especially.
And it's too small.
Yeah, and
That's
Tom, we can't.
Tom, your audio is pretty messed up. You want to try turning it off or signing out and signing back in again so we can hear you? We can hear that you're trying to talk, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, they use it. Okay, I'll try it.
He'll call back in hopefully. But yeah, because one of the things on that suggestion was like, I think one of the suggestions was like a kind of box or board at
A
the
kiosk,
park, right?
yeah, at the
That's
park.
what
Yeah,
they
a
call it,
kiosk at the park.
And it's like, okay, there's already stuff at the park, but do people either not know about it or it's
Mhm.
not in the convenient spaces or
Well, the park committee, I thought, made that point to where to put at least the one by the, the
Mhm.
road,
Comes
but the building was always there. We
Yeah.
always done something there. One year, we put a TV up there just to show pictures throughout the year that we did, especially
Mhm.
Mhm.
Christmas time, the rolling thing. So
Yeah.
people who came to look at it would know. We even did it for, not, it was Harlem Days that we did that. for.
Mm.
So
That's great.
just to show them what we do, our
Mhm.
community, what we.
Oh, Tom's back.
Tom's
Do you want to
back.
try talking?
Yes. Is that any better?
Now we can hear you.
You sounded like a distorted chipmunk earlier, so
Yeah, I've heard that before. So the Parks Committee met this morning. We talked about the bulletin boards. We're going to move the bulletin board that's on Neil Alley
Nice.
closer to the food box, actually right next to the food box, and then we'll put the little library next to that. So
That
all
sounds
all
good
three will be in the same spot, closer to the dumpsters, and we're hoping it'll get more, it'll be more visible. And then the one on the side of the concession stand, it is what it is for now. Maybe it needs to be fancier, more eye-catching, so people stop and look and say, what, what's new? But those are the two bulletin boards that we have in the park.
I think that's a really good idea to move the
Yes.
library and the bulletin board by the food box and have that all in the one place. That should get more traffic. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tom, couldn't we, on the concession stand, use like a motion detector light when they go by, it'll flick on, that'll shine on the, on the bulletin board. That way people will say, what's that light for? And realize there's something there.
Most people walk during the day. Park
No,
is supposed to
that's
be
true.
closed.
But if it's a different color, maybe a blink, would tell them.
We'll
Yeah.
brainstorm. There's got to be some way.
Something
to-
else.
It sounds like we're already, luckily addressing one of those things which somebody said, can we have a kiosk at the park? So it's obvious that whoever asked for that was not aware that it was already there. The location was maybe a little hidden. So moving it, I think, might make a big difference already. Thanks for that update, Tom.
No problem.
Just going through this list real fast. So we talked about the kiosk at the park, distributing monthly updates to the community. We're doing that via email. Doing it via print would involve getting it passed by the trustees to increase the print budget significantly. So that would be the hurdle there, but there is an appetite for that, it sounds
For
like.
print?
Yes. Yes, for print, just for more things in print to reach even more people.
I was gonna say, was that specifically like they felt that the quarterly printed newsletters were not frequent enough? I mean, like
The sentiment was that they wish there was more paper, more printed things distributed more frequently.
I mean, we're doing.
I do know a couple people that don't have internet at the
Right,
house,
right.
don't get emails at home,
Mhm.
all that stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's probably a small majority,
Mm-hmm.
but there is people out there that don't
Do
have.
we
that.
ask for a mailing list though? Like maybe just, I don't know, even printing out the emails and sending them or something. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud.
I feel like we'll see what maybe the trustees have to say input wise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
That's a
to your
lot.
point, we had to get a budget approved of what, like $18,000 just for the quarterly newsletters. So it would be times that by 4, right?
Mhm.
You're talking close to $100,000 to do a monthly newsletter, which is like, if the community wants that, then great, but that does need to be
Yeah, there just need to be further discussion on that because it would require like additional approvals. Because the budget has to be made like a year in advance to get the approval from Delaware and stuff like that. But
We also just-
there does appear to be an appetite for that.
Well, I know that we talked one time, I thought putting it in the newsletter, asking them which way if they could feed back through the web. And I think maybe we need to push that because we can say we're trying to cut costs down, but the
Mhm.
people who really need it, please,
Yeah, I mean, I almost wonder if we do something monthly, maybe it's just on the website and the quarterly one is printed. And to your point, if you want a monthly update, go to the
here.
website. For the people who don't have access or can't easily access, then you will get a quarterly printed one still, which would be the hopefully minority of people wouldn't
Right.
have.
That's what I was saying.
access.
Maybe narrow it down.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
what
so it's a
that's why
smaller
everybody-
mailing list.
Yes.
Even if a person doesn't have access at home, they can always go to the library and get on.
Yeah.
Right, but a lot of times they don't want it, if they can't get out to do that. I understand the mailing, but we just need to bring it down more. to
Yeah,
help costs and.
Yeah.
And
I know,
time.
I wonder if maybe there is like you can specifically request to have printed copies of a monthly one,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to make that. I just think that's a lot more work too, because then we would have to coordinate getting it to a
Right.
printer every month.
Yeah.
Getting
and
the,
get a check and everything else, so.
Maybe just follow up. And,
Yeah.
like you were saying, just to see how great the need is.
Yes.
Well, the monthly email blast could be on the kiosks.
Yeah, we could just print them and
Just print-
post
put a
them.
Copy up, put it on, post it so they could,
As long as
Yeah.
they know that's there, we just need to communicate that, to
Mhm.
let them know that here's a couple things that this is gonna work, let us know,
We could distribute some, we could distribute the email blasts at heritage events and
Yes.
and civic association events. We could try it that way. Which would be a little bit less like formal printing on
Right,
that
that's
big
what I mean,
printer.
just like these stuff,
Right,
just print them,
yeah.
mail.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. We could utilize, like, so since we're gonna be putting that kiosk or that bulletin board in a more convenient place at the park,
Mm-hmm.
each month we put our monthly update on there.
Yeah,
Like, make
That's a
a
good
habit of
idea.
it.
that's a good idea. I like those ideas. Okay, let me look at this again. The feedback was like implementing the 7x7 different ways strategy to just reinforce messages, just basically meaning that people need to hear something over and over and over again to really understand it and remember it. So, we're sending it via email, we're posting it on the website, we're handing it out in paper, we are
Having public
posting it on social
meetings.
media, we're having it, so we're hitting that. We're sending things out many different ways. For providing like summary documents and updates. I think we're doing that with these, emailing out these PDFs and everything. Engaging in two-way communication to get resident feedback. We're certainly doing that because people are like filling out these forms for these strategic planning meetings, and hopefully that will continue. And we're having calls to action for feedback, like do you have any feedback on the website? So we'll just keep doing that. And then the next little blurb was all about education, which we can certainly support, but it would be, the trustees. It was like bringing in subject matter experts to help explain development and stuff like that. We can certainly support that with our newsletters and our email.
Yeah, I think that's more of like, that has to be driven more by either the trustees or the different departments and
Yes.
less driven by us. But to your point, we can provide communications, if there's an expert that's scheduled to speak on a certain date, we could certainly make sure that that is well
Just
communicated.
like you
Yes.
did with the TID, the TID, yep.
Yes.
So I think that's, like you said, less of it's not us driving that block,
Yes.
but we will do what's needed to support it.
Which this actually just reminded me for the anything else. I've been typing notes about our anything else, like discussion of monthly updates. I could have swore that the trustees said they were inviting somebody, like some sort of community planner. There's supposed to be a guest at an upcoming trustee meeting. So let me reach out.
economic development person from Delaware County.
Was that it? Yeah, that sounds right.
Dana McDaniels?
I
Yes.
forget when they're supposed to come, but I think that's what I heard.
So that might warrant its own email blast to just, like if we're saying like, hey, we want to get this out, that there will be subject matter experts, we need to be pushing that out. We might have a couple of email blasts coming up. Might be just one. Maybe it's like a couple of updates. This is happening on this date. The Licking County thing is happening on this date.
That one's pretty important. The economic development one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
if it's going to be at this upcoming trustee meeting, yeah.
which will be next Wednesday.
Okay,
It's coming up fast.
it is.
6th.
This
Yeah.
April's been weird because we like snuck into April on like the first of the month on a Tuesday,
Mhm.
and then now we're having a meeting. It seems very early in the month. Same thing now. The trustee meeting is going to feel very early in the month. Okay, and then the last couple of things here, spreading the word. So we just talked about this, partnering with the different groups in the community to distribute information, use events as platforms for sharing updates. We're going to have the farmers market coming up. I wonder what we can do at the farmers market.
Should we have our own little tent
Um,
or help with?
You can
Yeah,
have
just
just
a
the
table.
table out,
Or a
table out.
I was just
like a
thinking,
communication tent. That's a fun idea.
And just have some printed things with like,
like Lucy.
paperweights,
Yeah.
paperweights on them so they don't blow away.
Yeah.
The trustees meetings the third Wednesday. It's
Yes.
gonna be the 16th.
Yes.
Which is,
Usually it follows the BZA meeting, but since ours is a Monday and the Tuesday, the first, we don't meet till the 21st.
Yeah.
So
like,
we're
it's a
meeting
weird
after,
month.
usually we have our BZA meeting, and then 2 days later, the trustees meeting.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
we're after them this time. Thinking, I know my BZA meeting was late. Everybody else was early.
Yeah. Is the farmers market that's put on by Heritage, correct?
Yes.
yes.
So how would what goes into getting a tent or having a booth or something like that?
Well, most people, they just take it and use it out of their car and they set up a table.
Okay.
Or you have like an umbrella, you know, it's for the
Mhm.
sun, to not to, in case it's raining a little bit on them, but generally just a table to put things there.
You can borrow our pop-up tent. Oh, he's not on. Yeah.
Oh.
We've got plenty of pop-up tents and tables if you want to borrow ours too. We usually donate them for the big festival and all that. So there's
And-
plenty of stuff.
Do you have to like register to do that or just reach out to Heritage?
Just tell me and I'll put it on because I'm working on that with Amber.
And that's good.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if we're gonna do this, like, if we want to have anyone there personally, like maybe we could do a rotational thing, like a sign up, you know, like here are the dates of the.
Yeah.
Tell you what dates I'm gonna work because Amber can't, we're trying to figure out
Good
who's
idea.
doing what.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So you'll probably know more at this next
tomorrow,
meeting.
yeah,
Okay.
tomorrow night's
It-
meeting.
You'll know
With
more at our
Thursday.
May meeting.
Yeah, but I'll also know more with our meeting on Thursday.
Maybe at our May meeting, we could do a sign up sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause yeah, it's like, I can't commit to being at the park every Thursday, but could I commit to being at one or two?
It's
Yeah.
on Wednesday this year.
Oh, it's a Wednesday this year. Okay.
Oh, yes,
cool.
yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Good to know.
Yeah, we changed it because New Albany was having theirs on Thursday. And then when we decided to do Wednesday, we found out Sunbury now is going to do it every second and fourth, or first and third Wednesday too. So that, anyway, we're not trying to compete
Yeah.
and get more people,
So you tried not to compete with New Albany and now you're competing with Sunbury.
basically. And plus, we thought on Harlem Days, we wouldn't, Sunbury wasn't going to do their festival thing, and people got a petition
Mhm.
Hmm,
and they're bringing it back.
okay.
Mhm.
So
The Sizzle and Sounds.
sizzle and sounds.
Was that the same day as the Township
Yes.
Festival?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes, yes.
That is tough to compete with.
And we've always had it that day, and they used to have beginning of
So they,
August,
so
but
they stole
switched.
our day.
I think so, but I might be wrong on that. But I know we always been the third Saturday of the month. So
Yeah, okay. That's a really great idea. That'd be a way for us. And then, yeah, that's a really great idea. I think we should try that for sure. And then is there Harlem Township Days is
Yes,
another opportunity to do
that's
that
in August.
in August. Okay, that's another opportunity to do that.
Yeah, we would like you guys to do that. I mean,
Mhm.
I think Joni was working on that one.
Yes, Joni asked me about that.
Right.
She's,
I know she mentioned it to me.
she said, you know, do you think that communications committee would like to be present at Harlem Township Days? And I said, well, absolutely.
Mhm.
I didn't think about the farmer's market being an even sooner opportunity, but I think that could be the same concept.
Mhm.
What a great idea.
You want to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, what
We
we
wanna
put out.
communicate.
Yeah, I mean,
Have printed copies of the newsletters available.
Yeah,
printed
the
copies
latest
of some of our
emails.
Updates, maybe some of the flyers that Crossroads has been putting together. That kind of
yeah.
stuff.
And we could have a sign up sheet for, are you aware that there's an email list? Would you like to be on the email list? So we could bring a sign up.
And we're probably
sheet.
should specify when we do that, to tell we will not, only use their email on that newsletter. Because I think that's what we did with our Heritage group. They won't share.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. This is only for Harlem Township.
We can
Right,
have a
just let them
email
know,
QR code
confirm
for
it.
people to scan, for people who, use QR.
Yeah, I just saying, I
Yes.
just don't want them to think we're just gonna send it out to
Right.
everybody.
Yes. Printed copies of latest emails and latest newsletters. That would be great. Okay, I like this idea, guys. I'm glad that we're talking through this. So then, that's perfect because one of these bullet points says increase engagement by volunteer outreach at high traffic locations. So boom,
We got
Nailed
it.
nailed it. We talked about neighbor to neighbor strategies, which we could certainly support. The big one is updating the website, providing making sure that development updates are readily available, maps are readily available. We're already working on that. And then finally, this is for us to support. They were asking, people thought that it might be nice to host these development strategic planning meetings, but in smaller groups by area of the township, just because what's happening in one corner of the township may not be the same thing as happening in another corner of the township, and it might help people localize a little bit better. So that was some good feedback as well. So
A couple years
Yeah.
back, excuse me, a couple years back, we did a series of community meetings that was targeted by like quadrant. We did 5 kind of breakdowns, the 4 corners essentially, and then like the center village grouping. At that time, it was more informational than like dialogue, but there was always lengthy Q&A. Like at the end of the presentations, there was tons of questions that were
Yeah.
fielded. But I think that seemed to get good. Like it seemed to be well received, that
Yeah.
it was more like trying to be more localized.
Yeah, it helps people like just kind of it helps people understand prospectively a little bit what's going on. This was really great, guys. I think we have a good plan here. So what's fine? Okay, so the last thing on the agenda would be social media calendar. So I have chicken noodle dinner photos to share. And Darlene just talked about baseball or park photos to share. And we also have America 250 information to share.
Yes.
So in terms of what we needed posts for, we need posts for this week and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. So we have 3 of 6 so far. We brainstormed 3 more post ideas.
Do you want me to do a fun fact, or did you know?
Oh yeah,
I can-
people love those.
Really?
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah.
yeah.
Do I get likes?
You do get likes.
I am
People love them.
worst on social media. But yeah, okay, that sounds good. I'll do that. And then I really will try and get that picture.
That would be fun. And then I guess we just talked about the Licking County and trustee meeting heads up. Like there's going to be a special guest and this Licking County thing's happening. So now so we needed 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 already.
Great.
This goes so fast. There's always stuff going on. I think this proves that we always really have stuff going on, so we
That's
can
true.
fill this quickly. Okay, what are we missing? The farmers market? That doesn't start till the end of May.
May 21st.
That seems a little bit far away.
Yeah.
Supposed to admit.
Well, May 13th, you could post that one.
May 13th.
Yes, you can post it on the May 13th.
I'm just looking at your agenda.
Because
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
following- It's the
Wow, that's-
following week, it'll be the.
Wow. This is going into May. That's
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah, because our next communications meeting is not until.
Yeah. This is crazy that we are talking about mid-May right now.
I know, the year's gone so fast.
Farmers market reminder on May 13th. Okay. So the Licking County and trustee meeting heads up, those might even be 2 separate, but 1 or 2 separate posts. But those certainly seem to need to be this week. Or if not, like Monday. Let me see here. So April 8th. Then we might want to do chicken noodle dinner. Maybe we can reserve those for when it's closer to the next chicken noodle dinner to kind of like promote it.
Which is May the 2nd, yeah.
Okay, so we could do that on like April 29 or
Yes.
Yeah.
or April
Yeah.
22.
29 would probably be, I mean, that's.
That's closer to the time and
Yeah.
you get people to know, oh yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's nice to be able to promote it with actual photos of one. Yeah. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna cross off here. Crossing off. May 13th, crossed off. April 8th, crossed off. But we want to plug in for April 15th. That's the day before the trustee meeting.
Yes.
Thinking I'm like, the terrible day.
Tax day, yeah, bummer. Tax day. Could be if there's a beautiful park photo, that would be just
I could do
fine.
that. I could do the either did you know or park. that
Okay,
day. I'll
great.
just give them both to you and you can
Okay.
decide.
Maybe April 15. Okay. It's nice to have these like assigned to dates
Oh,
too.
yeah.
April 22 we could just fill in any of these then. America 250. And park. I'm gonna put April 22 for America 250. and then May 6th for park,
Okay,
possibly.
that'd be great.
It'll also be like hopefully nice, slightly nicer.
Yeah,
So there'll be more
that helps,
baseball and
yeah.
softball.
Should be.
Next week should be a little bit sunnier.
Great. Okay. So so that's the end of the agenda really fast. So just to recap kind of these new things that we added. I'm going to put them, they were under the anything else. So we talked about how there seems to be an appetite for monthly updates. So we could potentially post them on the website, or at the very least print them out and put them at the park kiosk. And we would need trustee approval to like doing mailing monthly. So that would be a hurdle, but that can be let the trustees talk about that further. And then we can make sure to do printings of our email blasts and newsletter at the different events that we have, including the farmers market coming up, where we can hopefully rotate and have a tent to try to build a better email list and to distribute information. Am I missing anything? And we need an email for this next trustee meeting if they're going to have the special guest and this Licking County update that's brand new as
Right.
well. Great. Love it. Anything else?
Last but not least, the plug for we still have a vice chair
Yes.
spot open on this committee.
Still have a vice chair spot open and it's going in the newsletter.
Yeah, I'm sure Lindsay would
And-
love having help to have someone else that has, you know, the access to schedule the Facebook posts and et cetera, everything that you do.
Yes. Adam made a plug for it at the last meeting.
I know he did.
We can hopefully have this conversation at the farmers markets and stuff too.
So there's got to be someone out in the township who, like, you know, feels like they want to get civically engaged
Yes.
and like has that, you know,
Social
that
media.
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the things was to try to get the younger crowd more engaged, right? Like I
Yes.
feel like the younger crowd is more fluent in that kind of stuff. So let's
Yes.
find a
Do we feel like the park, maybe because there's like baseball games and stuff happening at the park, do we feel like Harlem Township Days and the farmers market is an opportunity to reach people? So there seems to be a subset of people that, you know, maybe because they've got a family with a kid in soccer or something, they can't come to these weekend meetings or the night meetings because they've got. Do we think that the farmers market and Harlem Township Days and passing out this information and getting physically in front of people, do we think that's how we can reach them? Or do we need to think
Could
more
be some
creative?
other repeats, but I know on Harlem Days, there's a lot of different people.
A lot of different people? Okay.
Right. A lot more we have. 'Cause-
especially with the food trucks.
yes,
Mhm.
that's what I'm trying to find a third one.
Oh, cool.
I was disappointed I didn't see the burger bus at all. Did they have a conflict?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes, they did. We got some new ones, but
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a lot of 200 to 400 people come through.
Wow. That would be a really good opportunity for
Right,
us.
you got people because it's the park and it's the kids.
People will stop by and let their kids play and stop at all the booths.
So right, and
Yeah.
the same thing is Winter in the Park or the Fall Festival. You know, that's
Mhm.
another time we could do some more things like that.
Yeah.
If we miss anybody or someone who was on vacation, during the summer that time, but you have those times to
Yeah.
they could do that.
Yeah, that would be great. Because it seems like, we're reaching people that are very engaged and we've got about 650 people on our email list, but that's still only about a quarter, a little bit more than a quarter of
Households, right?
households, I would say. We'll call it almost a third. So we got to get those people that don't even know we have an email list, to get them on it and get them following the Facebook page. And then we'll circle back around and with the mail every quarter and get everybody else. Yeah. Well, this was great, guys. Thank you. Anybody have any other comments? Anybody on the Zoom have any other comments?
I was wondering whether there could be copies of the newsletters at the firehouse. Maybe have some kind of a holder on the outside, and then they could pick it up if they wanted to.
Believe it or not, there are.
I was gonna say, I think there are.
We should make that information more obvious for people and promote it more on like the Facebook page and in the newsletter itself and in the email. that you can pick up copies at the firehouse in a little holder right by the door, just like your idea. Ashley
other-
put it out there.
The other thing is Harlem Township Days was first and Sunbury did copy it.
Okay, I thought I was okay with that.
You were correct.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, I'm writing that down. We need to make more obvious and tell more people that the newsletter printed is available at the firehouse.
You know what else? Something I thought about that might be interesting to put out there is just reminding people that all 3 of our trustee spots are up for election on the ballot this November.
Mhm.
And just if you're interested in running for trustee, look into that or something.
Right, it's an
So-
election year.
Yeah.
You could do that more towards August and September.
Well, the petitions have to be in by
Oh.
mid-August.
Oh,
You have
okay.
to get
Okay.
X number of signatures by, I think the deadline's like August 15th. So it might be something that we would want to put in like
June.
if nothing, no later than June.
Right.
To
Okay.
give people time to consider that and
In the June newsletter, remind people about the election year and trustee spots and the process for that. Yeah, that's great.
and I wouldn't say we would need to go into detail, but just like
Yeah,
if
just
you're
like a
interested in
reminder.
this, check
Yeah.
out the Delaware County Board of Elections website.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Because I have no idea if our 3 trustees intend to all run again or, but
Yeah,
So-
just so people know that there's like an opportunity if they want to
Exactly.
be engaged.
exactly. Another opportunity for civic engagement.
That's right. Okay, so the farmer's market is our imminent thing. We'll have a sign up sheet at our May meeting. Okay,
I can provide the table and tent.
wonderful. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna
Get
tell you to be
trapped
there
as
by
you're in.
3:30, so you because it starts at 4, but
Anything else? Are we ready to call it a night?
yeah, I think so.
That was great. We even added more to it. All right, well, good job, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned.
I just turned it off. Yeah.
I thought you did, but I'm not sure.
I know you reached,